Welcome to This Week at Foxscapes. We're going to show you guys some projects we're finishing up, and we got some in progress right now. Let's go.
1 foot in the flames and the other trying to walk the line. Can't say I never saw it coming, I can see the warning signs. Mama always said I was born on the wild side.
Here's a project we just finished up. We're up in Ovid, Michigan. The transformation on this project is one of the craziest we've seen this year. This is an exact result of what happens on a landscape installation when you don't start with the proper ground zero. We had to rip all this out and put a whole new landscape in. Let's go for a walk. All the turf repair was done with hydroseeding, a dormant seed. You can see this right behind me. It doesn't look so appealing to the eye right now. That's because it's mid-November. This stuff was seeded and it's not going to take off to the spring. It is okay to do it in the fall, but just know that you're not going to see any growth till about April on this property. So before, where we had plants that were way too big for the space, the varieties just like overtook the space. Plants were leaning over onto the sidewalk, growing up against the house, growing into each other. It was a large cluster up in here. We just simplified that. We got plants that actually, these ones like Mr. Bowling Ball Arborvitae, aren't going to get much wider than this, so they're not going to touch the deck, they're not going to creep on the sidewalk, and there's stone here too, so it's just really easy to maintain. It's just a one and done price tag when you put a stone landscape bed in. This through here, we took the plant quantity down and we have low maintenance plants. We got roses, hydrangeas, some evergreens. She did have this blood good Japanese maple that we saved from the previous design. Such a beautiful tree. It's kind of the focal point here, front and center. And again, this is an artificial rock right here, so you do have the wellhead beneath it right there, but then we go ahead and we put that down. It blends in with all of the Michigan boulder around that did come from the property reused, but all is uniform as one. We have a healthy 4-inch layer of 1-inch Michigan crushed stone. This stone we love to use. It's Michigan stone run through a stone crusher, so it's angular. It makes it really easy to walk on, and if you ever have to service the home or put a ladder down, it's a great base. The area is unrecognizable from the before video. It was a huge forest with a lot of grasses and trees growing in here. Now we just have the single crabapple tree, a circle ring around it, and some Michigan boulder just to kind of hold the space down, so when she goes ahead and mows, she doesn't have to get up underneath the tree and duck on her mower. She can just easily mow around the black plastic edging. Along the side of the property by the air conditioner, we continued with low maintenance plantings. We got some compact hollies as evergreens, some pennisetum grass. This is actually burgundy bunny. It's not going to get very big. And again, stone bed all around, black plastic edging, making it easier for mowing and easy for maintenance. In the original consultation, when we were learning about the future of the property, this back area is something they may potentially want to add on to the house, but we didn't just want to leave it bare. So we got a 2-foot stone bed just wrapping around to kind of flow with what we did up front and on the side. We also wanted something to protect the foundation and the deck too, just to make it easy for mowing. If you're mowing up against the deck and there's no landscape or edging, you can weed whack and like kind of carve away at your deck boards. Often that happens with the swing set. So we're just protecting the property, but not investing a whole lot because this is something they're probably going to take out. Previously in this area, there was an above ground pool. The ground was actually up to 2.5 foot higher than it is now. We took that all down, graded it out, and hydroseeded it too, so that grass is going to come up in April. This whole backyard is just going to be one steady slope on out to the cornfield, whereas before we did have a big problematic area here that we resolved. This is probably one of the coolest plants in this landscape. This is called the Fire Chief Arborvitae. So during the growing season, it's actually like a green yellow, as you can see there, and as the fall comes, it turns red and it holds its red throughout the winter. So it's one of the cooler evergreens that we've come to find. And then just landscape just wraps around the corner with some Weigela and some more Michigan stone. This bed around the propane tank has a kidney bean shape. So it's interesting, easy to mow around. Previously there was another large jungle growing right here. We took all that out and added some stone, plastic edging, and boulders. This pole barn was encompassed by weeds before too. There was a lot going on, vines, weeds, just random piles of debris from over the years on the property. So we took black plastic edging, shrunk the bed down. We edged along this concrete pad and the pad up front because it was overgrown a long distance. Back here, you can just see how much dirt was tore up and how it's hydroseeded now. This helps give you a good idea of what it was before. and now you can see what it is. This was one of those projects where it was so overgrown, it needed a lot of elbow grease and a lot of know-how to revamp it and bring it back up to speed. It was really cool to be a part of this project, make the homeowner happy pulling in their driveway as they were previously dissatisfied. And the whole goal here was just to make it easy on maintenance too. As the homeowner is entering or in retirement, we don't want a whole lot of plants they have to take care of. So that's why I see a lot of stone, a lot of boulders, and just like a quantity of like 2 on plantings. There's not a whole lot of plants here, but enough to make it pop. Thanks for following along on this landscape walkthrough, and we look forward to showing you guys some more of our work. Hey, we're headed back to the shop right now. Just leaving that walkthrough. That one was pretty gnarly, pretty gross, but we tackled it and got it in shape. So now we're gonna go do a little sit down. Nate's got a topic he wants to extrapolate on, so let's see what we gotta say.
All right, guys, it's Wednesday. We're in the office. We're gonna be doing a segment once a week going forward on kind of our business and what we do here at Foxscapes. Me being the owner and Luke being kind of my right hand and designer, and answering some questions and how we run Foxscapes. Being that Luke's been here 2 seasons now, and I've been doing this forever, but we've grown, and so we've learned a few things, and want to kind of talk about that as the season wraps up. We got about two installs left, and a lot of cleanup still. We'll be pounding those out the next few weeks and getting ready for our winter season. So got a lot of plowing, and we can hop into that on another week. But today we're going to talk about the screening process and kind of our design process.
Absolutely, yeah. When someone calls in to Foxscapes, it's going to be one of 2 things. It's going to be a maintenance lead, or it's going to be a design build lead. And the screening process for both of those is different. I know you, Nate, you deal mostly with the maintenance. You take all the incoming phone calls. Right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, obviously we have a phone tree. Customer calls in, they can go to our general line, which I answer, or they can go more specifically to like PJ, our nursery manager, or you on the design side. And then they also come through our website. But yeah, for when a customer calls in,
I feel like they just want to go straight to the owner. You're like on there, like, oh, I'll talk to the owner.
Yeah, I gotta get rid of it
design,
from saying,
but I need to talk to the owner.
I gotta talk to the owner. Yeah, no, I think it's
just get the phone call directed right to me.
Just change it to Nathan, not Nathan Fox.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so for customer calls in, it's going to go one of 2 ways: maintenance or design build. Maintenance, we're going to ask a customer generally for lawn maintenance, bed maintenance, and snow removal. Those are kind of the 3 topics that come up on a maintenance call. Mowing, it's very simple. The clients in the neighborhood that we serve, we'll add them to the list. We'll send them a quote on Jobber. We'll get all their information, check the satellite view, and then send them a price. Mulching and bed maintenance, we talk to them about our hourly rate or like our mulching per yard rate. Those are general numbers. Those are not numbers that we're going to hold to when we go do the quote. You know, if it's 25 yards of mulch, great. We can rough ballpark it, but depending on the bed maintenance and trimming, edging, all that's where we make sure that's clearly communicated. We can do just maintenance.
So unless it's recurring on bed maintenance, shrub trimming,
Yep.
You're going out and you're looking at it.
Yeah, either me or you are pretty much going out for bed maintenance.
How much of your business is recurring maintenance, people that have already had maintenance from you?
If it's bed maintenance,
Yeah.
we're probably doing 80% of our return customers.
Recurring
like
maintenance.
If 80 to 90%.
And then 20% is off the market.
Yeah, it's just people that call in. But a lot of our work is reoccurring customers that every year call in, or, hey, we put in their nice landscaping last year. Now we're going to do mulch, trim the shrubs, get it looking nice, or cutting their grass. You know, those are kind of the topics and the type of clients we serve. It's pretty much all referral, and it's all in one tight-knit route. We don't want to add mowing accounts 20 minutes outside of our current routes, and with condos, If there's a house next to a condo, great. But yeah, we're not going to drive 20 minutes to mow, a house, one singular house. So it's kind of maintenance. But going toward a design build, that's where kind of you take the lead. I'll refer on the phone call. I'll help screen, but a lot of them get referred right to you.
So maintenance is how many employees? Design builds how many?
We're probably 12 to there's just under 30 people, and I would say we're probably
12 and 18.
12 and 18.
Yeah, 18 in design build.
Yeah, depending on the
install crews.
Yeah, depending on the time of the year too. There's seasonality to it. Like right now we're winding down, so there's only probably low 20s. But come spring we'll be back. We were in the high 20s, low 30s this spring. So
with design build, that first phone call and that initial consultation is extremely important. Within probably 2 hours from initial contact or less, you should know whether it's going to be worth your time or not. A lot of times you can tell right away. Sometimes you kind of have to dig up a little dirt to figure out if they're going to be worth your time. And you got to be. You can't just go and display that you're trying to figure out that they're worth your time when you're meeting with the client. You got to invest in them, ask questions, and give them good ideas and open their eyes to things that they didn't know about. Show them that there's value here before you start to be business with them and start talking money with them.
how do you do that when on the phone call? How do you pre-qualify?
There's things that you listen for. A lot of times when clients are like, I just moved here, I just built this house, and I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. With experience, you can tell, and I'm sure you know too, like the home builder has a lot to do with the client's perception of budgeting for landscaping. There's some home builders, not going to name any names, but when a client's like, yeah, I just got my home built by X company, we're like, oh, okay, like we've been down this road before. You're going to need some.
This is a $5,000 landscape that on a $80,000 type of project.
Home builder budgets $5K in escrow with the build budget.
When that doesn't work. Yeah, they need 80. I mean, we've had that. Even with a couple builders, there's only probably 2 builders in the area that we see that, actually talk budget, or it's a client who's built a house in the past and now they're building their second home and selling off their first, going into the retirement. They kind of see oh yeah, I want to spend 50, 70, 100, whatever it is, $1,000, and I know I'm going to get what I want. Generally, a lot of our clients are people who they know what they want for the most part. They're coming to us because they've seen our work, they've seen our crews, maybe they've seen our website. They know what we do and what we're our specialty is. And you're charging a design fee, and
absolutely.
A lot of clients ask, what is a design fee and what does that go towards?
Yeah, the design fee, anywhere from $150 to $1,000. Probably going to be more in the future. You hear people charging design like $2,000 and up. That'd be awesome. But either way, whatever you're charging, it's a form of pre-qualification, and we let them know before we come to their property. Hey, based off what you're describing, you're going to need a design, and designs like this are going to be $400 to $600. I don't know until I see the site and I talk with you, but just be prepared. You're probably going to need a design. And then when you go to the property with the client, you give them ideas, provide them some value. But then towards the end there, you got to start talking money. You got to start figuring out if it's going to be worth your time or not. You're not just going to design it for free. You're not going to quote it for free. You have to have a certain level of experience to then go ahead and give them a budget that you can accurately just throw out there. 50 to 70 grand for this patio, landscaping, and retaining wall. Give them ideas and say, I could do this for this, I could do this for this, I could do this for this. Make them comfortable, maybe draw a sketch. And then at that point, once they're comfortable with the sketch and a budget and just rough numbers there, collect for the design. And at that point, we know they're serious. They're ready to move forward. You probably have a 50-50 chance at actually selling the job, but you're getting paid for the design no matter what.
What's your turnaround?
I would say it's about 50% if I draw it up.
I mean, what's your turnaround?
Oh.
How fast from the initial consult to the final presentation are you you shooting for?
I try to get it under a week, if possible, ASAP. But at most 10 days. I'd say 10 days is tops.
Yeah.
Right there.
And I think that's extremely important, not only for our clients, but also just, I think our industry needs to sometimes change to that, because spending 3 weeks away from the customer, you've given them money, they have confidence in you, and then every day that goes by that, they're losing motivation for the project or the excitement of the project, and then 2 weeks and you haven't communicated, and then there's an uncertainty with the client. And I think that's why you're scheduling, for the most part, everything from the initial consult. You're collecting the check, and you're probably, most of the time, you're already scheduling your follow-up meeting so that they have a timeline in their head. Okay, I'm going to give him $500 today. I know I'm going to get a design, and you explain it to them. Okay, this is going to be a 2D design. It's going to come with a detailed estimate, and it's going to come with the timeline of when the project is going to commence and what it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
That instills trust with them. When you're on site, you also do a few things besides, you measure, the property when you're, doing the design, but more recently in this season, you've been using the zip levels.
Absolutely.
And what do you see from the customer when you start pulling out more like a zip level, a soil tester?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You want to build trust in the client as quickly as possible. And when you start pulling out tools that cost a lot of money, they begin to build trust in you because it shows that you have experience. Not every landscaper is going to come in with $3,000 or $4,000 in equipment and provide them stuff they didn't know about their property based off of their tools for free. That's a huge win with the client. And it makes a little barrier for entry too. Like, landscaping is an industry where there could be no barrier for entry. Someone's trying to make a quick buck. I'm out here just going to tell you this about your property. But then you actually have somebody that shows up in a company truck, shooting grade, saying this is how much you needed this. This is why you're having problems here. They're going to spend more money with you than someone that's just walking around saying, oh, I'll send you a quote later.
Yeah, like customer confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that even comes to the presentation too. You're talking about grades. You're talking about bed sizes, spacing, plant selection, what exactly they're going to see, not only when it's installed, but also what it's going to look like in 5 years. Any landscaper or individual can throw a plant in the ground, but is it the right plant? And, explaining to them why you're planting, what you're planting, and it's instilling confidence, and that's how we continue to screen our leads, and we're super detailed oriented when it comes to, okay, the client needs to provide their budget, their style, how many people they entertain, and what their vision for the house is long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those are like we're talking about that on the phone before we even show up. Hey, I want you to be thinking about this before next Tuesday. I want you to be thinking about your budget before Luke shows up. So when he does get there, you're not shocked. You're not like, oh, we haven't really thought about a budget.
Yeah.
We can design anything. We've taken quarter-acre properties and put $100,000 worth of work in there, and we've taken quarter-acre properties and put $5,000 worth of work. The possibilities are endless, and so
I want to share a story about a lead that called in that I knew was not worth our time immediately. And I don't know if I told you, maybe I did tell you about this one, but they called in earlier on in the year, and he's like, hey, looking to have a retaining wall built. So I started talking to him, and I'm like, do you have a wall there already? He's like, yeah, but it failed. And I'm like, oh, well, how long was it there? He's like, 3 years. It's like, wow, that's really soon for a wall to fail. Like, even if you build it poorly, like, it should stand a little bit longer than 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I can tell you exactly what went wrong. I was like, what's that? He's like, I wasn't there the whole time watching the install process and telling him how to do it. And I was like, oh, not going to happen. Like,
yeah, it's
no
not
way.
gonna go well.
I was like, okay, well, I'm thinking, like, he probably hired the cheapest guy because the wall failed, but also he felt like he had to be there to supervise. Like, if you hire a reputable company, you should not have to be there to supervise. There should have been X, Y, and Z written out in the quote. So someone that has a good process, if you would have paid for the money, you wouldn't have had to be there. Yeah, it was like just like red flag, red flag, red flag. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'd be happy to come take a look and give you an estimate. Just so you know, I'm gonna have to charge to draw this up, your drainage and your wall plan. He's like, hey, wait, you're gonna charge me for the pitch? I was like, no, like a design is not a pitch.
It's a technical drawing that
you can hold us accountable to.
You can hold, yeah. You don't need to be there. And then a lot of the times, our biggest clients are not even on site. I mean, I can think of through this whole summer, 90% of our clients, whether they were retired or working, they were not there because they trusted what we were going to do because they knew the plan, they knew the specifications. They're seeing it at night when they come home from work, and they're seeing, oh yeah, okay, now I understand what that meant in that, design specification. You're covering not only yourself, but you're clearly defining what is going to happen on the project. So there's no confusion. And I think that's important, especially in the process to the install. Is the crews know what they need to do, the client knows what to expect, and as management, we can go out to this site and say, yep, that's right. There's no confusion. There's no, oh, did you guys put that base in correctly? No, it's specifically stated how we want it done, when we want it done, and then the client knows that I'm hiring a reputable company besides price. I know what I'm getting. I know how I'm going to get it. And I know what the final product is going to be. And I know who to call when I need service or I need maintenance or whatever it is. A plant dies. Okay, we're going to come in there and take a look and diagnose the issue, not just replace the plant.
Right.
It's extremely important, guys, to be thinking about that, knowing what the customer is expecting. Don't leave, gray area for the customer, whether that's through the design process, through the screening process, through the install process. The client should have no gray area. They should know what to expect. They should know what to, be thinking about. That you're the expert. You're the landscaper. We're the landscaper. They're just the client. They want the nice product. So, yeah. So I think that concludes our first office talk. We're going to continue to do these. Let us know what you guys think. A lot of people have been asking kind of questions on social media about how we operate and what we do here and kind of our process. And we just want to share that, show you what makes us different, and hopefully it helps you guys out or helps our community out to understand what we do and why we do it. So we thank you for that. Thanks for listening. Have a great Thanksgiving. And we will see you guys on the next one. Let us know what you think and other questions you might have for us. So catch you next time. Deuces.